Hi, we're back, and I want to introduce you to our first guest this morning. He's Peter Magazinovic, and he is an author. Hi.
Hi, I'm very pleased to be with you today.
Well, wonderful to have you, because I know that you've got something sort of exciting to tell us about today, something that you have created.
Yes, I like to be a creative fellow, so I've come up with this. It's called A King's Grave. It's a book, and it's available now on Amazon. Just type in King's Grave, and you'll find it on Amazon under my name, Pete Magazinovic. How about that?
Hey, and that, what you said, that was a novella, right?
It's a novella.
So it's not just a small book. There's actually a name for it and everything, which is really neat.
A book that's under 120 pages is called a novella. Anything beyond 120 is usually a novel.
That's interesting. It never came up before for me.
Oh.
So what is your story about?
Well, it's a historical fiction.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be a history teacher, so I found out about this occurrence in history from my mom, of all people.
Oh.
She told me to read a poem that her mother used to love to recite from.
Uh-huh.
And it turns out that when I read that poem, I was compelled to write the story.
Isn't that funny how it happens?
Yeah, it's amazing how that. I would never have written the story if it hadn't been for my mom and my grandmother.
Well, I love your cover. So is there a statue to him somewhere, or is that just
this is just a cover.
creative?
I had several choices to choose from, and this is the one that worked for both me and the publishing company.
I love it. It's really great. And of course, I'm mad about horses anyway, so anything with a horse
So
on
am
it.
So am I.
So tell me just a little bit about yourself. When did you decide to be a history teacher?
I became a history teacher in the late 1980s, and I recently retired. And I've been doing that ever since, and it's been great fun. I enjoyed every minute of it. People think that teaching is without reward. They're wrong. There's a great deal of reward for teachers.
That's wonderful.
At least for me. I found it to be that way for myself. So I began writing this as a result of reading my grandmother's favorite poem.
You never know where it's coming from. But anyway, I'd like to know a little bit about this king.
The king. It's a classic struggle between the king of the Gothic people and the Roman emperor.
Oh.
The Roman emperor was self-absorbed, arrogant, and just wanted everything that he wanted to have, And the Gothic king believed in something called the kingdom of conscience. And so they were at odds. They were on border. They had a border between the two territories. And occasionally the Romans would encroach into the Gothic territory and murder Gothic people, and then the Gothic king would retaliate. And as a matter of fact, this king was the only king who ever managed to lay siege to the city of Rome 3 times, and he received huge ransom to lift the siege each time.
My gosh.
The only person who ever managed to do that. And
What is his name?
his name is Alaric.
Alaric.
King Alaric of the Gothic people. Danube Valley, east of Rome.
I can see why that would really say something to you, because it's like you said, it's not very often that happens.
That's true.
Rome was pretty much protected from.
It was.
Well, that's exciting, and his story. You give the story of his life, and
I give the story of the last time that the Gothic king invaded or laid siege to the city of Rome. There's an entire story that I wanted to bring out, which was part of the poem. The poem led me to the last time that Rome was invaded by his king.
You never know what's going to inspire
That's
you, do
right.
you?
The entire story just began to mushroom in my head, and I was compelled to write it. I had to write it.
Well, all of that stuff is in your heart anyway. If you love teaching history, and I love history. We watched history on television all the time. It's really, it's so fascinating because, of course, I have a weird belief. I believe that maybe we were back there doing that at that time or something.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
you never know.
That's true. That's true. Somebody did it, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
And we keep seeing we must always repeat the same things. Maybe it is a reliving of our
That's
past.
what hurts. And you see, this civilization will disappear, and then somebody will be born, you know, a couple of thousand years later, and will go back to that spot and try to dig it and find
Yeah.
out their history.
Yeah, it's amazing how that happens.
Maybe that's crazy, but I just get that feeling.
Yep, so do I.
So, and your book is available on Amazon, right?
Currently on Amazon, soon to be in Barnes and Nobles, and perhaps it's slated to also be in Walmart and Target shelves that have book sections.
That's wonderful.
And libraries, public libraries as well.
Yeah, the library. I just got mine on the libraries. I'm having a big event there.
Well, good for you, good for you. You'll have to tell me how that goes so I can do the same later.
Okay, I'll tell you about it. So, is there anything else that you want people to know about what you're doing, or?
Well, I love writing, and that's how I spend most of my time at home these days, is writing stories. I love stories. I think storytelling is a lost art.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe that if we would spend more time telling our offspring stories, their life experiences would be much different.
Oh, yes. And
So-
people don't even hardly read much anymore.
Well,
It's
correct.
It's
And
really sad.
One book at a time, we will try to correct that,
Yes,
won't we?
that's what we're going to do. Okay, everybody, I want you to come back. Next time, in your next book, whatever, come on back, because we like our audience to get to know our guests that come
Okay.
in.
I look forward to it.
Okay, thank you
Thank
so
you so
much
much.
for coming, Peter.
Take
You
care.
take care now. We'll be right back.